Welcome back to the program. Now we switch to the gale of defection, shaking Nigeria's opposition parties as the countdown to 2027 intensified. What some are now calling the APC defection hurricane, continuing to sweep through the political landscape, battering opposition strongholds. Most recently, claiming 3 senators of the House of Representatives, 1 from the PDP and 2 from the NNPP, the New Nigeria People's Party, all now pitching their tents with the ruling APC. This latest wave comes just days after the NNPP, which rose to prominence through its alliance with the Kwankwaso movement back in 2022, suffered fresh losses. One of its 2 senators and a Kano State lawmaker decamping to the APC. Let's examine the ripples, the impact on NNPP's future and its broader political participation. Joining us live in the studio is the National Chairman of the New Nigeria People's Party. Mr. Gilbert Major is here with us for this conversation. It's good to see you again. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Good evening. It's good to see you.
I mean, we're beginning to sound like a broken record. The problems are all too familiar. But talk to me about something you had to respond to. These defections have hit all the major opposition political parties. Labour Party has had to deal with it. PDP is still reeling from the latest one in Kebbi. Your political party is the latest one to be hit. You've lost one of two of your senators from Kano to the APC, and a considerable number of your followership also, alongside the latest one in the House of Representatives. 2 more from Kano have, joined the APC bandwagon, so to say. You responded to someone who many would consider the golden goose in the NNPP by saying that Kwankwaso should not talk about betrayal because he embodies it. How best do you describe what's happening to your party right now? It seems that you can't even agree on how bad the defection is going to affect you.
Well, it's that's an issue for, very thorough discussion. But first, let me make it clear that there are more serious things to talk about than to talk about Kwankwaso as a person. I'm not here to talk about him. He has become part of the history of NNPP. At a point he came in, and at a point he left with his concier movement. So I don't want to talk about him.
Is that official?
Yes, he's gone, by the provisions of the constitution of our party and by the declarations that have been made across several courts of the land. The Abia High Court judgment, as well as the recent FCT High Court, where they took us to. So we don't want to talk about them. We don't want to put in any more energy to talk about them.
So if you consider him gone, why is he then pained about the defections, or appear to be pained by the defections of some of your stakeholders?
That's, you are even helping me to do this job on air, because I was going to take you to the fact that Kwankwaso came in with his people, the so-called Kwankwaso movement. And if you look at, the CV of the people that have defected, you will see that they were very active members of the Kwankwaso movement. In fact, they were very instrumental to the success of the Kwankwaso movement, as well as, by extension, the success of the NNPP across Kano. So they have lost very critical persons, very good politicians, politicians that are so decisive that could seal the fate of anybody. That's exactly what has happened. But let me place it on record by saying that they didn't defect from NNPP because we're in touch with them. All they keep telling us is that we're with you. We have no problems with the party. We have no problems with the programs. But we have problems with the organization that became part of you, through which we came into the party and won the election. So that we have lost a Senator Kawu specifically, that we have also lost 2 members of the House of Reps. It's not a revolution against the NNPP as a party. Rather, it is people have taken so much that they just can't stomach anymore. They are telling the Kwankwaso movement, we are tired of what you are doing. It has become a one-man show. We are tired of it. We are leaving, But I can tell you that they are with us, They're talking with us. We're in touch with them.
But they're no longer with the NNPP, officially.
Yeah, that's, the beauty of democracy is the flexibility that politicians have to be able to move from one political party to the other. If you are in a place where you are no longer comfortable, looking, for instance, at the vessel that brought you into that place, you are free and at liberty to walk away. But like I said, as a point of emphasis, I'm still saying it, and let it be on record that these people did not defect. Of course, the only vehicle through which people win elections in this country remains the political parties. Of course, we have no room for independent candidacy yet. And so they won election into those seats through the NNPP platform. And they have left. Yes, you will look at it from the surface that they have left the NNPP. But deep inside, for those of us who are inside players within the NNPP, we know that they didn't leave the NNPP, they only left the Kwankwaso movement.
Are you just trying to unsettle the APC to say that they might appear to be with the APC, but deep down inside them, they're still supporting or members of the NNPP?
Well, these are people that we have had very robust relationship with. And I will continue to place emphasis on that inside them, deep inside them, they know that they have no issues with the leadership of the NNPP. Their problems, their challenges that led to their departure has to do with the Kwankwaso movement and the way it is being run.
When Senator Godswill Akpabio, the Senate President, was reading the letter addressed to the Senate President in plenary last week when Senator Kawu was defecting, he was very specific about why he's defecting. He said the internal squabbles, the litigations, the leadership crisis, the factionalization in the NNPP. He didn't mention Kwankwaso or the Concier movement. Now you're saying it's about the Concier movement and about Kwankwaso.
Well, you see, you are dealing with politicians. What they tell you may not be exactly the situation the way it is. You know, the truth about it is that the only reason legally permissible for you to be able to cross carpet is when a party is divided. You know. And, but for us, inside NNPP, we do know that the perceived division has long been settled by the various court pronouncements, the recent court pronouncements, the one of Abia, and then the one of just about 3 weeks ago, delivered by a competent court within the FCT here, an FCT High Court. So everybody knows that the party is now under one leadership, one umbrella under me.
I mean, that litigation, is it over? Okay, also talk to us about this, because I mean, I'm going to let you land on that particular point, but there seems to be this confusion, right? You look at what's happening with the PDP and its leadership challenges with the National Secretary, for instance. You go to the INEC website and you realize that Senator Anyanwu's name is still there as National Secretary. You go to the Labour Party, Barrister Julius Abure is still there, quote unquote, by court order. Comrade Umar Farouk is still there as National Secretary, in bracket, by court order. When you go to your party, this is what you see on the INEC website. I mean, it still has Dr. Ajuji there as National Chairman, Dipo Olayoku as National Secretary. I mean, is INEC compounding this perceived instability of it by with some of these information that is still
INEC
considered official?
INEC is a statutory regulatory body for political party operations. Their job is to regulate the activities of the registered political parties. The registered political parties, they also regulate their operations. Of course, I am not here to talk about INEC either, because for you and I, we know how government operates. You have answered even the poser that you are trying to put before me by saying that even the ones that events have overtaken, you still go to the website, you see them. And so it is funny to us when we begin to look at records, what INEC have on the website for NNPP, when you yourself have just said that there should have been changes, you know, in the PDP leadership structure, you know, but that has not been effected. There should also have been, by now we should be seeing changes across so many other political parties in terms of their leadership structure as manifested on the INEC website. There are still no changes. So I'm not indicting INEC. All I can say is that, you know, I always insist that at the appropriate time, every government agency does its job and they take their time to do their job. So at the appropriate time, these records will always change. You remember that when this whole thing started, their whole argument on air was always that go to INEC website, you will see our names are there, and so on and so forth. But with what you are showing to Nigerians now, it is now clear that their names being there is not the issue. The issue, see, the internal operations of a political party. INEC does not determine how a party operates. INEC takes in what the party does. The courts have been very, very explicit on that.
Yeah, but INEC is the one you report to. If today you're sending list of candidates, and if INEC does not recognize you, there's a problem.
Well, it is not a problem. For instance, you just said that there should be somebody's name, Anyangu's name should have been taken away and replaced with another name, and so on and so forth. But just this morning, I was reading a report where I was made to understand that the Anambra Guba candidate for PDP's name was sent into INEC with the signatures of Damagun and
Senator Anyangu. Right.
Is it Anyangu? It's not Anyangu.
Well, I mean, there have been two separate reports
that's
about
what we're talking about. INEC says they have taken PDP candidate for Anambra, and from the report I read this morning, it is that signed by Damagum and
Ude Okoye.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So we are not bothered about that. INEC itself does not on its own, do things that tend to suggest that they are prepared to continue to go from court to court. What we think should be done is at the appropriate time, they will do what they need to do, and so that settles everything.
The PDP, following the defection of the Delta State governor and some of its key members in Delta State, for instance, say they are going to take this up, through the courts, challenge these defections, because it is what they consider robbery. Because on election day, they won through the ballot, and therefore that mandate cannot be transferred to another political party through a defection. Are you also going to consider litigation to reclaim some of the seats that you've just lost in the
National Assembly?
Yeah.
Well, I've told you that these are still our friends. The defectors are still our friends. We're not looking at the angle of litigation. But by the way, let me also tell you that the beauty of democracy, the hub around which it revolves, is the rule of law. Sometimes when you test certain situations in the court, as far as democracy is concerned, it's not necessarily that you want to win, it is to further enrich our jurisprudence so that our democracy will further take shape. Nobody, I don't know, I cannot point at any specific matter that has been done in respect of where people defected and they were taken to court and the court made a pronouncement. So for the first time, we're going to have a situation where the court will be compelled to say, okay, the defection of the Delta State governor is legal or not legal. It's not really because they want his neck. It's not also really because they want to pull him down and take him away or something like that. But because of posterity, it is important that some of these bits of laws are tested so that people will have reference points. The courts will also have reference points in further matters that would take such shape. So what I can tell you is that what PDP wants to do is right, not because they don't like the man's face, but because certain things need to be tested so that our jurisprudence can be enriched, and there will be reference points in dispensing matters that have to do with nomination of candidates as well as elections, people who have won elections on the platform of political parties, whether they could move freely or not. But like I said during my earlier submission, there are conditions under which somebody could defect from a party. If a party is obviously divided, the leadership is divided,
right.
You could move away.
All right.
Yeah.
You don't want to talk so much about Kwankwaso because I suppose you...
I won't even talk about him again.
Right. But
there are better issues to talk about.
You're going to have to respond to this question, though, because I think it's important and Nigerians would love to know.
If it has to do with Kwankwaso as a person, I can assure you, you better not ask the question because I wouldn't answer.
He is rumored to be negotiating with the president or the APC. I mean, we've seen the videos, and you do know he's a man that generates a lot of interest, political interest, in terms of the conversation. Are you worried that you're going to lose your, or perhaps that the person you disregard as influential in terms of your political currency is going to take sides with the APC? And doesn't that mean effectively that your prospect going into 2027 will not look promising?
I want you to put yourself in my shoes. Will you be worried if somebody who for over a year now has not been a member of your party is walking into another political party? Why should that disturb you? Please, let us discuss serious matters here. The man is gone. I told you that he is part of the history of NNPP. He came in at a point and left. I don't want to talk about him. I want to discuss things that would, further enhance the operational capacity.
Is it fair to say that your description means effectively that this relationship is dead and buried? I mean, you're friends with the defectors, but you're not apparently friends with Kwankwaso.
We have no problems.
Who has been your biggest catch?
I don't know what you mean by being biggest catch. A catch that came in and then tried to.
I mean, is it not fair to say that he has put you in the map?
Please leave Kwankwaso's matter out of this and let's move on. I don't want to talk about him. What I can tell you is that he's at liberty to go to wherever he wants because we have no business with him. He ceased to be a member of this party since 2023.
Some would say that, National Chairman, you're minimizing his influence, his political currency, and what he has done for the NNPP so far. Is that not a fair comment to make?
I will not talk about Kwankwaso as a person anymore.
What about the Kwankwaso movement? Well,
Kwankwaso movement, yes, he came in with Kwankwaso movement. Kwankwaso and Kwankwaso are the same thing. And the implosion you are seeing within the Kwankwaso movement today is an outright rejection of the leadership style of whoever says is the leader of the Kwankwaso movement. So I'm not a member of the Kwankwaso movement, so why should I be talking about the Kwankwaso movement? Those who are members are the ones revolting against the way it is being run. So it is clearly their business, not mine.
Has this bad blood between the party leadership and Kwankwaso affected your relationship with Governor Abba Kabir of Kano?
Abba Kabir of Kano is a governor that was elected on the NNPP platform. And it is also on record, we have said this repeatedly here, he has been on suspension. He was first suspended for 6 months. He was recalcitrant. The suspension was extended again for another 6 months. And as I talk to you now, he's still recalcitrant. You can see the damage that loyalty can do to somebody's political future. You know, so again, he's an active member of the Kwankwaso movement, loyal to whoever they call their leader. And so we're not expecting anything different from what we have seen from them so far.
Right.
As I speak to you now, he's still under suspension. And that is the status quo, the way it is.
Will NNPP survive this phase?
How did APC come into existence? Before APC came, ANPP, that was one of the parties that merged to bring on board the APC, had a lot of issues. They had a lot of governors, I think over 6 governors elected on their party platform. They had issues, they lost almost everybody. The party was only existing on paper under Umezoke until they eventually found their way into the merger that brought the APC. The ACN, the same thing. Every political party has to go through the phase that we're going through. 2 things happen. Before every election, you will see crisis within a political party. Immediately after every election, you also see crisis. So what you are seeing is a normal phase, a normal passing phase as far as a political party is concerned.
Chairman, thank you so much for joining us on the program today. As always, excited.
It's been good talking with you.
Thank you so much for stopping by tonight.
But like I said, each time you bring me here, don't bring Kwankwaso's matter here because I won't talk to you.
Right. I think you've responded, well enough. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right. That's our show for you tonight. Thank you most kindly for joining us on Daily Politics. We'll be back tomorrow live at 8 p.m. I'm Abdullahi Ahmed. Good evening.